The Impermanence of Friendship and Enmity. Friendship and enmity, too, are impermanent. Today's sworn enemies may become like-minded friends tomorrow, forming close relationships. There are many such cases. Even in this lifetime, people who were once bitter enemies may become part of each other's family. Such things do happen. Bitter enemies who are at odds with each other can become close friends. On the other hand, even those intimately linked by blood may resent and hurt each other for the sake of trivial possessions or paltry inheritance. Even spouses or relatives can turn against each other and even resort to violence over petty matters. Nowadays, family members often have property disputes. Many siblings harbour deep hatred towards each other. Friends may not have such deep enmity, but relatives often have deep animosity. This situation is common, especially among siblings. Moreover, there are even cases where parents kill their children or children kill their parents. In the beginning, they must get along well, but why do they end up killing each other? This is the result of karma, which is hard to explain. Enemies can turn into loved ones, and vice versa. Let's share a few stories. The beings with whom we had the strongest karmic connections, or the family members we were most attached to in past lives, may become people we dislike in this life. Conversely, those we are deeply attached to and reluctant to part with in this life are often our enemies from past lives who come to collect karmic debts. This is very likely due to karmic debts. For example, if a mother selflessly dedicates her entire life to her son without receiving much in return, she will inevitably come to collect her debt from him in the next life. Driven by her karma, she willingly sacrifices for her child. However, if she spends decades giving without receiving anything in return, she will certainly come to collect her karmic debt in the next life. Therefore, from the perspective of the law of cause and effect, the relationships between sentient beings are all governed by karma. Worldly people perceive maternal love as noble. However, without learning the Buddha's teachings and cultivating renunciation and bodhicitta, maternal love is merely an emotional attachment, and the sacrifices made under such circumstances are driven by karma. According to the Lankavatara Sutra, the meat we consume is closely related to our past family members. This sounds scary, but every piece of meat you eat has a karmic connection with you. You won't consume the meat of beings with whom you have no karmic connection. The meat you consume comes from your past loved ones with whom you had the closest relationships. As the sutra says, "From my observation of sentient beings, they consume each other's flesh. In reality, they were all relatives. What they consume is the flesh of their loved ones from past lives." Therefore, to study the Buddha's teachings, we must learn the law of cause and effect spanning past, present, and future lifetimes. Understanding the law of causality entails considering the past, present, and future. I have to say that Confucianism has its limitations. They don't mention the existence of past and future lives, lacking a broad vision. If one comprehends the law of causality across 3 time periods, one will naturally believe in karma and refrain from killing. Buddhism explains the law of causality thoroughly, which can guide people profoundly. Confucianism has its limitations. Therefore, those who study Confucianism should first understand the law of causality in Buddhism before delving into Confucian teachings. By doing so, they can achieve a comprehensive understanding. There are many valuable teachings in Confucianism, but it is essential to learn them with an understanding of the law of causality across 3 lifetimes. For example, cultivating a virtuous character should be based on this foundation. One day, while the Arhat Katyayana was out on his alms round, he saw a man with a child on his lap. The man was eating a fish with great relish and throwing stones at a bitch that was gnawing at the bones. What Katyayana saw with his clairvoyance, however, was this. The fish was the reincarnation of the man's father, and the bitch had been his mother. An enemy he had killed in a past life was reborn as his son, is the karmic repayment for the life the man had taken. After observing this, Katyayana cried out, "He eats his father's flesh. He beats his mother off. He dandles on his lap the enemy that he killed. The wife is gnawing at her husband's bones. What happens in samsara is so strange." This is the situation of sentient beings. If we firmly believe in this teaching, we can release our attachment to our loved ones. It is just an emotional attachment. The Vinaya Sutra recorded a story of a man who deeply loved his son and committed immense negative karma for his sake. When he died, he couldn't let go of his attachment to his son. Thus, he was reborn as a cow in his household. The son killed the cow and ate its flesh. After that, he was reborn as a cow in his home again, but got killed by his son once more. After that, he was reborn for a 3rd time as a cow in his home. When his son was about to slaughter him again, Shariputra appeared at their doorstep. Through his divine vision, Shariputra saw the cow murmuring to itself, "I have already come twice, but you killed me each time. My beloved son, now you are going to kill me again. I am deeply distressed and cannot bear it any longer, but I cannot resist." Shariputra conveyed this message to the son. Finally, the son released the cow. This person couldn't let go of his attachment to his son, so he was reborn as a cow to continue serving him, because he hadn't fully repaid his karmic debt. Master Zhegong, the imperial teacher of Emperor Wu of the Liang dynasty, was once invited to a wedding. Upon arriving, he spontaneously sang a Dharma song. "Strange, strange, a grandson marries his grandmother. A daughter eats her mother's bones. A son beats a drum made from his father's skin. Pigs and sheep sit on the bed while relatives are boiled in the pot. Everyone comes to offer congratulations, but I say suffering, suffering, suffering." This story shows that relationships of kinship and enmity are impermanent. Understanding this can help us loosen attachments and significantly improve our spiritual practice. If we deeply understand that all sentient beings in samsara have been our parents, relatives, and friends in countless lifetimes, we will grow weary of the various joys and sorrows and won't be overly attached to anyone. Kinship and enmity are so transitory, yet we form deep attachments due to a lack of understanding or practice. These stories serve as reminders. Since friendship and enmity are impermanent, we should treat all sentient beings with love and compassion. First, we must learn to take family ties lightly. Worldly people cannot understand this. If you tell them to downplay family bonds, they will think you are crazy. They believe family relationships are the closest in the world, so how could we treat them lightly? Isn't that mad? Confucius also said, "The friendship between gentlemen should be as light as water." The same principle applies to family relationships. Confucius did not say that family members don't need to interact in a gentlemanly manner. Family members should also interact with each other like gentlemen. However, ordinary beings often have emotional attachments which give rise to troubles and afflictions. If one falls in love with someone, they will develop affection. This kind of affection is a karmic habit of attachment. Upon seeing that person, one likes them and is willing to make any sacrifice for them without any reason. This kind of unconditional giving and clinging is related to karma. Please earnestly meditate on the impermanence of kinship and enmity. We lack sufficient meditation on this aspect. Thus, it is hard to break free from emotional attachment. We should spend more time meditating on this teaching because, as Chinese people, we have an ingrained attachment to family. This karmic habit is hard to transcend. Although Confucianism emphasizes filial piety, as practitioners, we cannot blindly follow the emotional attachment of ordinary beings. Such attachments can be deceptive. Ordinary beings may treat their children well. However, since they haven't learned the Buddha's teachings, they are still selfish and attached to their children. They don't want their kids to be different from them. They wish you to stay in samsara with them. In this way, they have someone to rely on, even in future lives. Sentient beings with karmic connections wish to be together and rely on each other life after life. This is what they think in their innermost subconsciousness. Chinese people tend to rely on relationships in everything they do. They believe that more friends and family members means more opportunities and support. In their subconsciousness, they don't wish you to take a different path from theirs. They have an intense intention to keep you together for more strength. However, in reality, this is selfish and deceptive. Only through spiritual practice can we truly benefit our parents. Without practice, we will continue to stay in samsara with them. Becoming a monastic practitioner is certainly the best option. If not, devoting yourself to Dharma practice is also good. Your parents will be the greatest beneficiaries. If you attain liberation, they will accumulate immense merit in this life. Since you were born and raised by them, your dedication to spiritual practice in this lifetime will bring them boundless merit and a bright future. Therefore, spiritual practice is the ultimate filial piety to parents, surpassing worldly filial piety. If you follow their attachments, it shows you lack wisdom. You cannot adapt to them simply because of their slight suffering. Before I became a monk, I told my parents, I have grown up, and I will decide how to live my life. I hope you will take good care of your life. Even if I were to build a family, it wouldn't bring you much benefit. It would only satisfy a bit of your vanity. This vanity is nothing for them. What use does it have? It's just a bit of pride. If their son has children, a spouse, and a successful career, they may feel proud in front of relatives and friends who will compliment them, but there is no real benefit. However, if we engage in spiritual practice, they can truly benefit. They can receive immeasurable merits, whether for their stay in the human and heavenly realms or their liberation. Many people with great blessings in this life don't know how they get these blessings. Probably they had a child in their past life who was engaged in spiritual practice. Hence, they have virtues and prosperity in this life. However, they have forgotten about their past lives and don't know where their blessings come from. This afternoon, we repented together. It was a wonderful and joyful practice. I shared that if someone treats you differently than they treat others, it is because your subconsciousness influences them. When your subconscious minds interact, they may inexplicably develop a subtle attitude towards you. This afternoon, I shared an example with a strong contrast. A gang leader who makes money by harming others but treats his wife and children well. He gives all the money he earns through illegal means to his family, and in their eyes he is a good father. However, to others he is a ruthless killer. This case is possible due to karma. It shows that beings are multifaceted. The way others treat us is actually the result of the interaction between our karma. It stems from the deep consciousness shaped by the karmic ties between you and them in past lives, not just in this life. The intertwined karma accumulated over countless past lives creates these effects. Hence, when you meet someone, you might feel a connection or impression about them. You might instantly like or dislike them, or gradually develop a good relationship. This largely depends on whether your past karmic connection was positive or negative. Positive connections can turn negative, and vice versa. It is the interplay of past and present karma. It is similar to dreams. Everyone in your dream comes from your subconscious. They might harm you, scold you, befriend you, or dine with you. All of these arise from your mind. The same principle applies in real life. As stated in A Song of Debate Between Waking and Dream States, waking and dream states are the same. In daily life, all the thoughts that others generate towards you arise from your karma and are directly related to you. When others harbour a thought towards you, it is absolutely connected to your karma. Why do they have this thought about you? It is closely related to your karma. Don't think, why doesn't he like me? Or why does he judge me? It is actually a result of your karma. Why doesn't he judge others? It is due to the interplay of karma between you and him, caused by your karma. By contemplating this, you will realize that the relationships between sentient beings are not as simple as they appear on the surface. The karmic connections between sentient beings are inconceivable, and the law of cause and effect is also inconceivable and complex. Don't consider it simple. The law of causality is not as simple as A kills B in this life, so B kills A in the next life. At the very least, we should regard all Dharma practitioners and those who have karmic connections with us as our favourable conditions. Today, I had a conversation with a lay practitioner about her marriage. I said, "What your husband does must come from the blessings of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. In the Buddha's state, all sentient beings are equal. The Buddha won't hate him just because he mistreats you. The Buddha treats him equally as you." Bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara blessed him, so his negative karma emerged and he appeared in that way. Thus, you and your daughter had the chance to learn the Dharma. Hence, you can save him sooner. Because if you and your daughter attain enlightenment earlier, he will be saved earlier. On the surface, it may seem like he fails you in this life. However, because of this situation, you and your daughter embarked on the path of spiritual practice. Hence, he will be liberated sooner. If you think in this way, you won't resent him. You may even thank him. He is bearing the karmic consequences of falling into hell to help you achieve enlightenment first. Therefore, through the blessings of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, his negative karma emerged first. Although he may appear to act wrongly, if you and your daughter attain enlightenment, he will be saved sooner. On the contrary, if you live harmoniously in this life, you will continue to stay in samsara, creating karma and undergoing reincarnations for countless lifetimes. If you devote your life to Dharma practice and attain enlightenment earlier, he will be liberated sooner. Even if he falls into hell, it doesn't matter because he will be saved earlier. His liberation may come numerous eons earlier. For example, in the past, King Kalingaja wanted to dismember Kshatrivardhan. Kshatrivardhan allowed him to do so and even vowed to liberate him first. When the king cut off Kshatrivardhan's hands, nose and ears, Kshatrivardhan made a vow, "I will liberate you first." Through this, he attained spiritual accomplishments. Therefore, if you know how to use an adversity, it can become an opportunity for spiritual growth. Not to mention our fellow practitioners, they are undoubtedly supporting us in progressing together. Whether a fellow practitioner appears to help you, hurt you, slander you, judge you, or whatever it may be, if you can transform it into the path, it is your merit. If you know how to use it, it will support your spiritual practice. Otherwise, you will regress. Sometimes, when you regress to a certain point, it is also likely that the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas make you regress so that you can see yourself clearly. Spiritual practice is complex. It is not as simple as you might think. Sometimes the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas may bless you by making you regress first. For an arrogant person, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas may bless them to regress, allowing them to see their true colours and karma. Then they will feel ashamed and earnestly engage in Dharma practice. So don't ponder, why does my mind keep running away? Why do my karmic obstacles surge? The surging of your karmic obstacles is actually a blessing from the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, allowing you to see your problems. You have to transform your thoughts. Of course, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas may also bless others to hurt you. In such situations, we should think, this is a test from Dharma protectors. Dharma protectors may bless someone around you to test you. If both husband and wife are practitioners, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas will bless them. To help them achieve realization more quickly, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas may bless them with frequent quarrels. It is hard to practice in a harmonious environment. Daily conflicts, however, can accelerate spiritual progress. Of course, this is not an absolute rule. Quarrelling is not necessarily bad. It could be a blessing from the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. It depends on how you perceive things. If you see worldly people as demons or think that fellow practitioners are not happy with you, then there is a problem with your practice. If you suspect that fellow practitioners are criticizing, envying, or intentionally hurting you, you have lost your way and need to reflect seriously. Regarding worldly people, see them as being empowered by demons to help you progress. Regarding fellow practitioners, view them as your Vajra comrades working together towards enlightenment. You can visualize our Saha world as the Pureland of Buddha Sakyamuni, where all evil beings are manifestations of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and Dharma protectors. As I mentioned earlier, even if you are surrounded by wicked beings, visualize them as wrathful forms of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and Dharma protectors, all blessing you. The more adverse the environment, the faster you can progress. It depends on how you perceive things. Your mindset determines your accomplishments. It depends on whether you can transform your thoughts. If you cannot transform your thoughts, you will see them as evil beings. This is true. If you visualize it in this way, then it is the reality. Thus, all demons become Dharma protectors, testing and refining you. When you lack challenging circumstances, the Dharma protectors will create situations to train you and accelerate your spiritual progress. If you have faith, this is how things are. Otherwise, they are karmic creditors who come to collect debts from you. Even if they are karmic creditors who come to collect their debts, they are here to help you achieve spiritual growth. Without repaying your debts, how could you possibly attain enlightenment? That's impossible. Their coming is good. We even hope that all our karmic creditors come to collect what we owe. We should strive to dedicate merit to them, practice diligently, and train ourselves. Karmic creditors are here to help you progress. However, if you don't know how to practice, you will be affected by them. Everything has two sides. It depends on how you treat it.